Get ready, Staten Island.
The Ferry Hawks are back at SIUH Community Park July 7th to the 12th for a 6-game series against the High Point Rockers. Tonight, first pitch is at 6:30. It's Thirsty Thursday with $5 Bud and Bud Light drafts. Friday, July 10th, first pitch is at 7 p.m. May the Force be with you on Star Wars Night with post-game kids glow around the bases with special lightsaber training packs.
Visit ferryhawks.com now to lock in your seats.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
I'm really excited about getting this guy on. He was amazing on Fox News yesterday. His fiance, Ainsley, joined us, over 3 hours ago this morning. She was terrific. He's the man. He's the king of it all. The great Sean Hannity, whether it's Fox News TV or radio, or he's got his podcast doing great, too. I just love this guy. Sean Hannity. Sean, good morning, buddy. How are you?
Sid, how do you really feel about Mamdani? I didn't quite get your real sentiment. Marxist, Zoran, Marxist, Tommy Mamdani.
Yeah.
By the way, you left South Florida for that.
I know.
Good luck.
I know.
By the way, your entire station needs to move down here and broadcast from here, the free state of Florida.
No, you're right. Believe me, you say it to me every time. Rick Scott says it to me every time. I know how bad it is, but listen, someone's got to stay and fight, Sean. So at least for now, I'm going to do that. But listen, I'm not that far behind.
It was, I would say, at the top of every hour for years, the greatest city in the world. And it was. But it will never be if they continue down this radical road. The state is going to hell in a handbasket. Let me give you an example about Mamdani. All right, so federal death tax, 40%. New York State death tax, 10%. By the way, Florida's 0. And then Mamdani wants 50% of a death tax. Okay, put it all together. It's simple math. 40, 10, 50, another 50. And he wants to lower the threshold from $7.5 million. Okay, everybody in New York knows it's $750,000. Tell me what you can buy in terms of owning, a studio apartment in New York for $750,000. Can you get one even?
Not much. No. No,
not much.
No,
you're gonna get a closet.
Yeah,
and then that would be what you'd be able to freely, give to your children, grandchildren, people that you love, charity, whatever, because the government would take 100% of the rest of the money above $750,000. Now, I'm going to tell you 2 other things you need to watch for: the wealth tax that took place in Seattle. And that Gavin, now it's on the ballot in California, that would be retroactive to January 1 of this year, which has chased out Mark Zuckerberg. You know where Zuckerberg now lives? Florida.
Yep.
You know where 2 of the co-founders of Google live? Florida. You know where Elon Musk now lives? Austin, Texas. These people are wealthy. I don't know people that were born with a silver spoon in their mouth. I just don't. Everybody that I know that's ever been successful got there one way, the old-fashioned way. They worked really hard, and they figured out whatever talent God gave them, and they produced goods or services that people wanted, needed, or desired. Period. End of sentence. You've been successful because you work hard. You're still not paid enough, but that's a different story. And why so much silence on this line? I hear nothing but silence.
No. We're about to do a brand new deal here. I'm very excited about it. So very close this week.
I'm kidding. Well, now you just broke news. I love that.
See?
Okay. So, but look, I really mean this when I say it. I really care about all of my friends in New York that are there. Many of them have also followed me, and they've either come to Florida, or they're going to the Carolinas, or they're going to Tennessee, or they're going to Texas. And I just hate the fact that a wealth tax, and here's the other thing that'll follow that. It'll be an exit tax. What is an exit tax? You live in New York, you're a New York resident, and you decide to leave because you can't take it anymore, then they're going to claim they have a right to a percentage of your income and the ability to tax your income for the next 10 years, because whatever you built in your life, even though Obama said you never built that, that they have a right to still continue to tax you, even though you get no benefits from that state at all whatsoever. And if you think I'm nuts, look it up, because it's been proposed in states like California, and it's going to go nationwide. Mark my words. Anyway, how are you doing?
That's a mess. Otherwise, I was doing okay, not great. I'm sad about the Lindsey Graham news, but it's a mess. See, here's the problem, Sean, and then we want to get to Lindsey Graham, obviously, but when people like you leave, okay, and brilliant guy, big-time successful guy, making a lot of money, when you leave and droves follow, how do we beat somebody like Mamdani when he runs? It feels like every decent Republican, every decent conservative now lives in Florida or Tennessee or the Carolinas or Texas. How do you beat these guys, these lowlives in these states?
The answer is it's hard. And like, for example, I'm a huge Bruce Blakeman fan and fully endorse him to be your next governor. And by the way, the fact that the polls right now, there was a poll that came out a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, a 4 or 6 point race. The fact that this is a race tells you how bad that the state has deteriorated. Now, Nassau County, Suffolk County, Westchester County, upstate New York, it's all going red. If you look at a map at how the state of New York votes, it's almost all red. Then you got this little island where you are right now. It's called Manhattan. Then you have, surrounding boroughs known as the 5 boroughs. Check the WABC traffic. It's, everyththing's blocked. You're screwed for the next hour and a half.
Yep.
More details coming up in 10 minutes. This is sponsored by, Geico Insurance, whatever.
Right.
But all of that, it's the same traffic report every second of every morning, right? Alternate side of the street parking is suspended today, right?
That's right.
But those 5 boroughs, here's your problem. You're looking at the people where it's 10-1 or 9-1, Democrat to Republican.
Well, really 4 out of 5. Staten Island is still pretty good. But yes, the other 4 are terrible.
Staten Island is one little, saving grace.
That's
and it's part of, it's part of the equation, but it's still not all.
No.
Not Nassau County.
No, it's a very small pimple in an acne problem. How about that?
Oh, well, very great example. Thank you. Thanks for sharing your problems with us. We appreciate it. More info than I wanted. But
I know. But you're right. It's a mess. The boroughs are a mess, and you hope the rest of the state will eventually catch up, but I just don't know. But here's what I do know. I really had no idea. I should know this, but I didn't. How close you were to Graham before I watched you, heard you on Fox News yesterday. Then Ainsley came on about 3 hours ago. She said, Sid, I got to tell you, my fiance spoke to him almost every day, sometimes a couple of times a day. So I guess she said that Tim Scott was the one who sent you a text at about 3:30 on Sunday morning. But I think my audience will be really happy to hear just how close you were with Lindsey Graham, as close as Trump, Gowdy, anybody.
Well, for my friend Tim Scott, and he is a dear friend, to call me at 3:30 in the morning. I woke up about 4:30, and I looked at my phone, and I'm like, the first thing I saw is he called. Then I opened my phone, and probably I had 15 texts. I'm like, oh, no. And then I learned immediately what had happened. But the first thought was, all right, he either got drunk, which is something he never would do.
Right.
He's a very strong Christian.
Yeah.
Or he butt dialed me, or something horrible happened, and I was leaning towards the third already. Nothing ever good happens when you get a call at 3 a.m, so it just doesn't.
Nope.
And, Lindsey was a dear friend. And what really bothers me is there are so many that did not understand him. They thought he was a warmonger and, he just wanted to kill people left, right, and sideways. That was not him at all. But he didn't have blinders on in life. He understood that there is evil in this world. He understood that, evil, in the case of radical Islamists, want to destroy us. The president, everybody I know that had the intelligence leading up to Epic Fury and before that Midnight Hammer, they all tell me the same thing. The president had no choice. He had to act. When Steve Witkoff came on my radio show, my TV show, and said definitively that they had 460 kilograms of 60% enriched uranium, commonly referred to as the nuclear dust, and to go from 60% enrichment to 90%, which is weapons grade, is about a 12-day process or less.
Wow.
And that they were making efforts to get the remaining 60% enriched uranium immediately after Midnight Hammer was very problematic. The president had to deal with it. The fact that Lindsey knew the number one state sponsor of terror, he had enough moral clarity to want to prevent that from ever happening. If you think whatever problems we may be facing with the Strait of Hormuz right now is bad, imagine a nuclear-armed Iran. They would not only control the strait, but they'd have hegemony in the entire region. And that was what united Israel and all of the other nations within the Middle East, is they all were dead set against that ever happening. So the president wasn't doing this for Israel. The entire region was celebrating when, in fact, Midnight Hammer and Epic Fury took place.
Yep.
But, we've got a hiccup here, and the hiccup is you've got one group of leadership that does want a deal, and then you've got these hardliners, former loyalists to the former Ayatollah and Supreme Leader, Ali Khamenei. By the way, they froze that guy for how long and then had a funeral? I mean,
was he frozen like Walt Disney? Is that right?
I have no earthly idea, Sid. I wish I could tell you, but it was bizarre. And, I mean, I hate to tell you, but look at the level of anti-Semitism in your state. Look at Mamdani, his wife after October 7th and things that she, checked off on social media. I mean, it is repulsive to me. Look at what happened at Columbia, other schools. The rise of anti-Semitism has gone rampant in the city. It's happening on college campuses, the halls of Congress. It's growing worldwide, nationwide. It is scary at this point.
Very.
And meanwhile,
and I'm in the city. I mean, like I say, meanwhile, you got Lindsey Graham, who's out there. I just had Bibi Netanyahu on this show an hour ago, maybe two.
Yeah.
And he was saying that we lost a great fighter. He made it about America first because that's what the anti-Semites love to do. Oh, you're Israel first. No, I'm not. I'm America first. I'm Trump first, but I'm Israel second. And Israel, to me, is right there. It's like a horse race. It's like 1-1-A. And Bibi realizes what Lindsey meant to the state of Israel because, oh, my God, Lindsey Graham, your great buddy Sean Hannity, actually had the balls to defend Ukraine and Israel. What a terrible person.
And here's the thing. What Lindsey's real goal was, and I'm a huge fan of Bibi. I've known him for 30 years. He has done a phenomenal job protecting his country. Look, you extrapolate out Israel's population and compare it to ours. October 7th, 2023, you talked about this year being the 25th anniversary of 9/11. I can't believe it's 25 years ago.
I know.
I had syndicated my radio show the day before.
Yeah.
I will never celebrate the anniversary of that show because I can't. because I know what happened the next day.
Although you have to admit that was kind of when you became, and deservedly so, because I think you're magnificent. I don't just say that to patronize you. I love you. But that's when you really became the megastar you are today. You did a phenomenal job.
2,977 of our dear friends, and fellow New Yorkers died that day. And then many more thereafter from 9/11 related illness, which, by the way, people need to know is very, very real. And, they did not mask up the people at Ground Zero in the rescue recovery efforts, the cleaning up efforts. And a lot of people are dying from 9/11 related cancers. Yep. A lot of people
still. Yep.
And, but the equivalent in Israel is October 7th for them. They have less than 9 million people in Israel. That's it. I mean, this little country has had to defend itself, its entire existence, going back throughout history. Never mind the 1948, UN partition plan and forward, and the day after, and Ben Gurion reaching out the hand of neighborliness, only to be, attacked the very next day. And all of these neighbors were hostile towards the newly established state, but they always found a way to survive. And Bibi's always had this moral clarity. Yeah, they want to destroy Israel, but they're not just chanting death to Israel. They're chanting death to America. And let me say one other thing on this religious aspect. As a Christian, as a believer in Jesus Christ, Sid, my Lord and Savior, happened to be Jewish. His apostles were all Jewish. America was founded, if you read our framers and founders, on Judeo-Christian principles. All of our framers and founders, they all referenced it, to one extent or another. And it became, this one incredible document. We just celebrated the 250th anniversary, our declaration, endowed, what makes us different, endowed by our Creator. Where this hatred has come from, I think, the greatest ally, most reliable ally we've ever had, and especially under the leadership of Bibi, I don't know. I can't stand it. And the conspiracy theories and the hatred. Well, by the way, where are all those people at Columbia? Where are all those people, at Gracie Mansion, whatever you call them, the home of your buddy Mamdani? Where are all those people that were protesting, what Israel defending itself? That's 40,000 dead Americans in a day if that happened in America based on the size of our population.
That's right. And we wouldn't sit idly by. President Trump, our dear friend, would make sure that somebody...
What would you want your government to do if we lost 40,000 Americans
Exactly what Bibi has done. How about that? And that's what Trump would do. He put a hurting on somebody who did that. Before I let you go here, the last question, and you're great, Sean. Thank you. This is amazing. The last question I asked Ainsley this morning was, if God allowed you a 60-second visit to heaven this morning just to say something to your friend Lindsey Graham, what would you say? And she said, it's funny, Sean and I talked about this last night, and she said, I'd start with, I'm so mad at you. If you didn't feel well, why don't you go to the doctor? Why don't you tell somebody? Let me ask you the same question, Sean. What would you say to your dear friend who loved you so much and you loved him, Lindsey Graham, this morning?
Look, I know too much now about stuff about his health that he ignored, that as a friend of his, that, the fact that he didn't bring that up to me hurts a little bit. I'm being very blunt here. And I would just say, welcome home, good and faithful servant. I mean, his dream said, and I didn't finish this thought, his dream was not war. His dream was not death. I wish there was no evil in the world. I wish there was no radical Islamist in the world. But I can't deal with the world that I wish for. I have to deal with the world and the hand that we're dealt. We were dealt a hand on 9/11. You played Bernie Kerik at the beginning of this segment, a dear friend of mine, too. And he was a hero along with Mayor Giuliani on that day. And how soon people forget. They nearly lost their lives that day. And, they showed leadership on a scale that, was needed and brought a city together. And George Bush coming to New York brought a country together and throwing out the first pitch at Yankee Stadium. All of that happened. And, I just think that we are all on God's time, all of us. And, and it's the role of us that know and understand and have the moral clarity and the understanding that evil exists. I wish it didn't. That has to be eradicated when necessary. But what I love about the Trump doctrine is he doesn't believe in forever war. He wants to get the job done, take out ISIS the way he did, take out Soleimani and Baghdadi the way he did, and in this case, stop Iran from having nuclear weapons, keep the strait open, and go home. He does not want boots on the ground. What Israel decides to do is going to be up to Israel. I'll put it that way. And, I think that Bibi will do what is in his country's best interest. Lindsey Graham's great hope was that, once this situation was resolved, that every country in the Middle East would join either the Abraham Accords or Abraham Accords Plus, and that we'd have a path to peace in a region that has known nothing but war forever. And that was his real goal. His real goal was not to have war. His real goal was a lasting peace. That was his real goal.
You are a generational talent, Sean Hannity, but more importantly, you're a superb person.
No, I'm a loudmouth. I get paid for talking.
You're great.
But
I love you. I'm so happy you did this.
Listen, Sid, I love our country. I love my friends in New York. I kid around about it a lot on my show. The free state of Florida, because New York chases you wherever you go. I can't even visit New York because they'll want to, track me down and tax me for a day.
That's true.
I mean, that's how desperate they are for money.
I know.
But, they chase everybody. Look at what they did to Ken Griffin. They Mamdani doxes the guy.
I know.
Now, this is a billionaire that already has a very high risk assessment based on his wealth. Number one, why would you dox a guy that owns $200+ million, penthouse apartment that pays massive amount of taxes on it, that had planned to spend $6 billion investing in New York City? And what is Ken Griffin's response? See ya. He's now spending that money in Florida.
I don't blame him.
There are more. Every Wall Street firm is in Florida. You now have a stock exchange in Texas. There are more Morgan Chase employees down in Texas than there are in Florida, there are in New York. Every private equity company, every big bank, every investment firm, they're all down in South Florida. Said Wall Street South is bigger than Wall Street.
Amazing. It's true. No, I know. I'll be down next month. So I'll reach out. Sean,
look what they're trying to do to your boss. My God.
I know.
And by the way, the margin in a grocery store is 2%.
Yeah.
It's not even like there's this massive markup. There's not.
Nothing. No, there's nothing. I know. And he stays in the game. Katzmatidis, who's a great guy. But, boy, they are making it difficult.
We'll find out how great when your deal's signed. Then call me back.
All right, Sean, I love you. Thank you. Amazing job today, Sean Hannity. Thank you.
I love you, Sid.
I love you, too. The great Sean Hannity right here on Sid and Friends in the Morning.
Thanks for listening to Sid and Friends in the Morning. You can hear Sid and Friends in the Morning weekday mornings at 6. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?